Well, hello everybody. I'll give a few minutes to let people log on. Very tired, but it's done. It went well. ICC, it was good. I got my question answered. The two justices I wanted to answer absolutely did answer. So it was recorded. I don't know where one's going to find that. They don't leave you with that, but it's recorded. It was made public for all those in attendance. Whatever governments around the world were there, they watched. They saw my name publicly. My question went in. Super windy here. What the? Looks like I'm going to have to roll up a window here, man. Off Lake Ontario here, it's windy. Now I'm going to sweat my butt off here, but like I said, I'm very tired. It was a long one. It went an hour and a half. Awesome education, everybody. Completely fulfilling. That's the best word I can say. I have issues. I have issues with the case I want to bring forward. And believe it or not, everybody, they go through exactly how you make your allegation that corresponds to trigger prosecution. They go through that in tremendous detail. They go through the Roman statutes as they are, what's critical to follow, and I have issues with my allegation. So I am definitely going to have to reach out to a couple lawyers here in Canada that I know and respect and talk to them about it. I'm going to see if they'll give me some time. One for sure will, but the expert I want is tremendously busy right now, and he's a good friend too. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to talk to him about it and try to see in legal speak, I use that word in legal speak, that will trigger a prosecutor to take that case on. So I'm very confident. They went through a lot of things. I took notes. I screenshotted the works. I will show that to loyal followers as I meet you in person, but I will not ever publish because I'm going to keep that. That's for me. It's for the party, and it's for the case I'm trying to do, and I don't want in future to ever be kicked out of something like that or blocked. So I will not publish. I will not share that publicly because it means more to getting the job done than it does for, I suppose you could say, some type of transparency. Man, it's 20 degrees here today, hottest day we've had so far. I'm going to crack the window a little bit. Hopefully with this tremendous wind today, it doesn't blow the phone down, but got to do it or I'm going to start sweating bullets. So, on another note, that German case, everybody's sharing, nowhere to be found. None of them, nowhere to be found. Absolutely not. There were several people in attendance from all over the world. We don't get to see everybody, but if you post a comment or a question, you're published for all world powers, all countries, in absolute transparency. And of course, me, I always stand on those stages. I always give my name, and I certainly don't hide from truth. Otherwise, why bother, right? If you can't be in full disclosure or stand there and go the distance, why even bother? Then to me, that says, well, you're not actually doing what you say you're going to do. And they do go through Germany. They go through German law. They revert back to international tribunals. There have been a number of them. But there are only two courts in this world. Two courts that hear your case. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but my question was asked and it was answered. And it is what I said it was. If you go to the International Court of Justice, it is voluntary. So those saying, oh, we're going to have a tribunal, we're going to go to the International Court of Justice, they're basically taking your money. They're getting donations from you to go to a kangaroo court that will never see the light of day because it's voluntary on all nations. Voluntary on all nations. So when you name individuals, let's say from a country like the United States of America, you better have gotten Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, who's currently president, you better have him on board, because if he says no American citizens going to that court, they're not going. Or any other country you list, if the country says, nope, I'm not going, which is their privy, their right, they're not going. Do you think the case that everybody's sharing is going to be led by international world leaders or leaders of said countries, of all groups that people attach to that supposed case? No, they won't. And they know that, but it's good to get everybody up in arms and get the donations flowing. That's what I would believe. It's a joke. It's typical. It's been going on for a very long time. Like I said, none of those people are, sorry, I have people honking at me here, but none of those people are going to do what they say they're going to do because they haven't gone to the right court. If they were serious about what they were doing, they would have been there today, exactly as named. They would have been there to ask some key questions, as that was the first time ever justices from ICC sat on a public forum like that. Somewhat private, obviously, I shouldn't say public forum, but made public to the entire world to talk about it. And they go through in tremendous detail. It was one of the best things I've done all year because I've got answers. I have a path forward. I do have more work to do. I'm glad that was held because after the work I did with the UNSC, the P5, wouldn't that all be for a waste if I couldn't even trigger a prosecutor? So I'm going to work on the allegation. I have tons of exhibits. That's not the issue. The issue is coming up with a proper affidavit that matches those Roman statutes that apply only to the ICC, International Criminal Court. That much I can guarantee all of you. I have 2 justices, one of which sat on the court. The other was president of the ICC just up until recently. And we had 3 world top experts in International Criminal Court, top professors of the world, one of which I'm familiar with from other things that I've gone through in international law, but the other 2 are brand new. I'm going to reach out to all of them, absolutely. I don't know about those justices. I don't think I should, because that may compromise my case. I don't know. One could ask him to ask those experts that were in attendance, but it was terrific. Let's just say that it was terrific. I got so much out of that pile of notes. It was an hour and a half worth every minute of my time. Absolutely. I just wish I had a little more energy. And now the China Africa Symposium I go into tomorrow is actually 2 days, and it's 5 hours a pop. I'm going to convert the time here later tonight at work. I'm pretty tired. We're going to see how that goes. It's not something I should miss, but man, there's so many hours in a day, and I'm running on about 6 hours of sleep chopped up, so I'm pretty tired tonight. But, you know, you have to do these things. You have to do the work. That's what I've been doing for 2 solid straight years since I left politics the first time, and there's no way I'm going to abandon that. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue forward. So thank you, everybody. We're going to see how it goes. I definitely need help with my affidavit. What's nice, I have the outline from 2 ICC justices on how to do that. One quick note before I go, everybody. There's one thing about Canadian law, and in this common law, people love to talk about common law, but what I've always found nice is judges, when you get into the civil side of law, in the common law, kind of your civil rights side of things, when you're going for this human rights was outlined very much the same way too. The justices actually have to help you if you're not a lawyer. So that was the tremendous gift I got today, the help I desperately needed. And that's great. That's great. I got a real outline, a real path forward. The only Canadian really doing that in a real court situation, in world court, the real world court. Don't fall for everybody's baloney. That's what I call it, because it's absolutely baloney. There was none of them today. No German, no lawyers of any of that. kind. All the questions were laid out, and I can promise you, of all the lawyers asking questions, none of which were from that tribunal that people are saying and sharing. None of them. Not one. All baloney. Now, it's possible, again, like I said, they're going to the International Court of Justice, which, as I said before, is just voluntary. Voluntary by all nations tagged. And unless you've won the president, prime ministers, or whatever the name of the leader is, emperor, dictator, despot, you're not going to get any voluntary submission to that court. Unless the government's on board with who they're going after. But if it's the government themselves, nope. They'll never go. That's reality. International Criminal Court. That's where it's at. Like I said, there were only two, and I was on the real one. The real one that can actually make a decision if the P5 accept it, can grab the politicians and those named if they accept it. And I went in backwards. I've already gone to the P5. I'm now at the International Criminal Court. Thank you. That's my video today. Share, share, share. Sorry I'm groggy, but I'm running on limited sleep. And I have a coffee here to finish before work. Okay, bye now. Thanks, everybody. It was great. Really great.